So, Joe, we can see you. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes!
Can you hear me? That's the question.
All right. Can we turn him up a little? He's the little guy in the corner over there.
Well, you know, right here in this case today, I know that room, I'm actually looking down at folks right now. So I'm actually taller.
It's the first time you've ever seen the top of anybody's
virtually.
head.
We're just going to move right into our presenters, Wayne and Teress. They're out of Washington State. Guys, why don't you join us on video and on audio, and we'll go ahead and get started because we want to have a lot more time for you guys. Forget about me. I'm too short anyway, so we'll just move on. And there they are. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
And where are y'all from?
Hello, everyone. We are from Washington State.
Washington State. I met you guys, was it in 2019 or was it in 2018?
2019.
Yes, 2019 May. Yeah.
Yep. And they were very apprehensive when they started, were you not? But they pushed on, pressed on, and we've got a really awesome presentation with them because they've done a really wonderful thing. So tell us why you joined Lifestyles.
You want to start, huh?
Here you go.
We
She's like,
joined
no.
Lifestyles. We'd heard about it, I heard about it on the radio, and I just listening to it, and we'd had some property here in Washington, but we hadn't bought any as far as foreign investment. It was just somewhere we'd lived and then moved and rented out the old property, and so we had a couple here, and so we knew that there was potential to make money, but what I heard on the radio, what Dell was talking about, seemed very exciting as far as, and I didn't know exactly what it was, but as far as rehabbing them and renting them out, and building your wealth and getting passive income and retiring in 3 to 5 years or something like that. I'm like, that sounds fun. I want to investigate that more, and so went to the first seminar and signed up for the 2-day, and then brought Therese to that, and she was all excited about that and thought, okay, this makes sense. So
Yeah, and that's where I met you guys there at that first.
Right.
We actually drove up to your house. I took my wife in 2019 to visit Sisters, Oregon for the largest outdoor quilt. We drove up 4 hours from Oregon to your house in Washington at the time, and we had dinner with you and a few other Lifestyles members. So we did that just for you guys.
I know, but we appreciated it too. We brought our neighbor over, and you talked to him and tried to convince him how he could.
Well, I don't convince people.
Well, you just gave him information.
I don't convince people.
Yeah.
I just gave him information.
Yeah, you shared your knowledge with our neighbors, and that was very
Okay,
nice.
so you like our systematic business plan to produce passive income. Tell us about meeting the people who've been successful. What do you mean by that?
Well, back to the systematic business plan a little bit is my history, or I had been in shoe repair, and I hired on to a company where they taught you how to fix shoes. They had a system where you use these supplies, you charge this price, you fix it this way, and it was just kind of already all set up, and they just kind of taught you how to do it, and you did what they told you to, and after 5 years, if you performed well, you could buy the shop that you were working at through the bonuses you would get from your sales and stuff like that. So I like the whole idea of the systematic, here's how you do it. This is, there's 10 steps or whatever, and you just kind of follow them, and you get a good product at the end of it. So that's the way I saw with this Lifestyles. It's like, wow, but instead of fixing the shoe, you're fixing a house. And instead of making $50, you might make $50,000. And so it was pretty exciting to me as far as that goes. And just the people we met was, like yourself, and just people who had, from all different backgrounds, been using the Lifestyles method to get wealthy through real estate.
Yeah, and you actually didn't have a fast start. I remember that. One of the things I do remember in our conversation at the 2-day when I met you was one of the shoe shops that you worked at was right nearby in the same city we were holding the 2-day at. I think I remember that.
Right here,
Is that correct?
Columbia Tower here.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
My
okay,
shop
cool.
was in the biggest building in Seattle. The Columbia Tower is the tallest building in Seattle, and it was on the second floor right by the food court. So it was a real nice location, but it got sold out to some Chinese investors, and they kind of changed the layout of the place, and they got rid of. Basically, I lost my lease, and so it's like, okay, that's all right. So and that's when about 6 months later is when I went to the seminar for lifestyle. So I'd kind of was down to
Yeah,
one job,
and-
and I'm like, okay, what am I going to
We
do
came to,
for my
right,
entrepreneurial spirit?
you got into passive income.
Right.
Got
yeah,
into passive income.
yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at Irish Hill. This is one of your properties. You've got a bunch of properties. We're going to come to that later on. This is a before and after of Irish Hill. You did a wonderful job. Where's this located at?
That's in Houston.
I got to tell you, when I
Alrighty.
first looked at these pictures, I didn't think it was the same property.
You know, it does look different, does it?
It looks like a
Doesn't it?
different property. So
Yeah, that tree
Totally
kind of, we
different.
whacked that tree back a bit.
if you look to the red house
so you
on the
think-
right, you can tell it is the same property, though.
Oh, and you know what they did too? The contractors, they went in there and they said, you know, that living room, when you first come in, it looks kind of dark.
Oh.
And so you can see on the right, they have the 2 windows there. And
Yeah.
on the left, that there were no windows. And
Okay.
so
Oh, okay.
when they
Good job.
mentioned they wanted to put windows in, they were like, well, how much is that going to cost? And it was like $750 or something. We're like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
wow.
It was just, we were just
That
amazed
is
at how cheap it was.
that's a good price. That's a very good price.
I know.
Let's go to the
Yeah,
next.
do it.
Let's go to the next slide and see.
Yes, it looks like you did quite a rehab on this one.
Yeah. So when you are working on a property and it's a rental property, 2 of the things that women want to see, and the women, if they're married, if they have a family, they're the ones driving the rental decision. So this is one of the things you always want to make sure that it looks nice, that it's going to be, you know, something that somebody wants to come home to. And there's the kitchen. So you can see that you guys did an awesome job on this property. It just looks day and night. Totally phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal rehab.
Yeah. So
And your
here's
numbers.
the numbers on the property. And I love, go ahead and tell us about it. What you guys, well, actually, who's the realtor on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the realtor for this one is Jennifer McCormick.
Jennifer McCormick.
McCormick out of Houston,
Yeah.
out of the
Yeah.
Lifestyles
So
Houston
that's the-
office.
yes.
She is phenomenal. Now, I know we're in Central Texas right now, but you guys are national, and this was
Right.
done in the Houston market.
Right, and we're like I say from Seattle. We've never been to this property. Jennifer
Okay, awesome.
Jennifer recommended it. You know, we got in a blast, and she's like, "Yeah, this would be good for you guys. You're out of town, and it's going to need this." And she wrote the fix list and sent a couple contractors out there for us and got the survey done. And she just kind of managed everything, and we just kind of sat back and said, "Okay, Jennifer, okay, Jennifer." You know, and she's just very thorough, and the numbers she gave us, everything lined up just perfect and just a little bit better than what she said. And she totally drove the whole rehab. And, it was just a real pleasure working with her, and we ended up getting a couple other houses through her, but she's phenomenal.
Yeah, so this is a $500 cash flow per year, $6,000 a year. That's a 20.7% cash on cash return when you divide the 6,000 by the 28. We've got actually about a 39% equity capture, which is pretty good, pretty decent. So this home has been a blessing for you. You got this in 2019 or was it the following year?
Right, this was our first one. We got it in 2019.
Okay, this was 2019.
Yeah.
So we've been a member,
All
start member for like May 2019, and then after 3 months, we got our first property, which that Irish Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I said. You guys kind of, for me, you guys moved a little bit too slow.
Yeah, right.
But not as slow as the,
But
not as
we
slow
got
as
some
the
momentum
first
going in
presenter.
2020.
Yeah, but not as slow as the first presenter. But he did a phenomenal job. This is pretty awesome. I want you guys in the audience. Now, I can't see you guys. I can only see Wayne and Teress. But look at the bottom number for equity capture. Now, when going back to 2019, Wayne and Teress, could you have thought to yourself that you'd have $1 million worth of equity capture?
No, not in 3 or 4 years, not at all. No.
That's why we were so excited when you were like, wow, we see the number. It really works. So it's good to mingle with successful people because the mentality, it changed your mentality. So yeah, it really worked for us. Yeah.
And you guys have been still gathering with a bunch of the Lifestyles members in Washington, haven't you?
We go to the seminars when they're here, but that's about it. We both work Saturdays still. I'm trying to get Teresa on retired or at least part-time.
That was a conversation. Look at the cash flow. Everyone look at the cash flow. $69,000 of cash flow. Now, I remember a conversation earlier this week. Wayne was saying to Teresa, I'm still trying to convince her to retire, but she won't retire yet. Because you could retire with us, right, Teresa? Yeah. All right. So the bottom two properties, if you take a look at this, everyone, these are the two properties that Wayne was talking about that they got. They basically lived in it, moved out. Instead of selling it, they rented it out. So these are the two Washington properties. Notice where they're buying now. So they started in Texas and they progressed to Georgia. So I want to ask you a question about that. How hard was it to go from Washington then to invest in Texas where it's so far away, and then to go further away into Georgia, the Georgia market? Tell us about that.
You want to talk about that, huh?
We could talk about it.
Okay. Well, like I mentioned earlier, we haven't been to any of the properties, so for us it's just Georgia, Texas, wherever the numbers make sense. We just kind of looked at the numbers, and if we can get cash flow of $500 a month or so on a property, that's pretty great. I don't care if it's in North Dakota or where it is. It's that's kind of what we're looking for, is to get some good cash flow and figure the equity will come up and down, and but mainly is make sure we can get some cash flow.
And it's landlord friendly as well too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, landlord friendly state. So where the numbers
yeah,
work.
that's true too. Right.
It doesn't really work in Washington State.
Yeah, wait a minute. Landlord friendly Washington isn't.
No,
but
those two don't go together.
They got already. So
and we plan on selling the ones in Washington as soon as we can too.
Yeah. So you folks in the audience, I know we probably can't hear you in our headsets here, but give them a big hand. $1 million worth of equity and $70,000 worth of cash flow. That's pretty awesome. Oh, I can go to good.
Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Everybody clapped.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So how has your life changed since joining Lifestyles Unlimited?
You want to go ahead, huh?
So for me, since we joined Lifestyle and buying properties, and we see the numbers, and like I said, it really worked for us, and the mentality changed, and having an extra income give me peace of mind, knowing that if I decided to stop working and take care of my kids full time instead, at least I don't have to worry about it. I know that having it's extra income, it can replace my corporate job. So
That's
I really
awesome.
like that way.
That's
Yes.
completely awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome, Teress. Wayne, you have your own statement there, so tell us about that statement.
Yeah, I guess from being a small business owner, going through the financial struggles of 2001 and then also 2009, 10, 11, it was kind of tough, having only one stream of income. And so with having the real estate with the passive income, it brings a lot of peace of mind, and there's so much more potential there also. We've also started to invest in multifamily now, and so we've got, we've got multifamily coming in where we're not doing anything. We've got the single family where we, fielding some phone calls and doing some different things, and then we both have our jobs, and so we have lots of different streams coming in. So it creates a lot of peace of mind and a lot of potential, and kind of start dreaming about retirement homes and where we want to retire, if the Philippines
That's
or
awesome.
here or both, do 6 months and 6 months or something like that.
So let's go over to the next slide, because I want to touch on what you just, by the way, folks in the audience, not only do they have the 10 cash flowing properties, they bought land that's going to be the retirement, where they're going to build your retirement home. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
it's overlooking Hood
Plus,
Canal.
they have
so.
4 other proproperties in the Philippines that Teress during COVID went back and bought some properties over there. So they don't have just U.S. properties; they have international properties as well too. So let's talk about your short.
Yes. That's the one thing that I like about lifestyle, because I learn a lot. So for me, it's open mind for me, and that's why I want to start building outside the country, which I can see the flow, the cash flow too. It's not.
Okay.
I can see it right now, yeah, but I know in the future, there's gonna be more cash flow.
Well, we're going to learn from you. And if the Philippines is someplace to invest, my wife's Filipina. Might as well look over there. All right. So go ahead
Yes,
and.
I grown up. I was born in the Philippines and immigrated to U.S. over 20 years ago.
Cool.
And
wonderful,
yes.
Wonderful. All right. So let's talk about who's on your team.
All right, we've got some great mentors. We've got you, Joe, who started us out and got us going, and now Isaac kind of helps us out too. When you're busy, we can call Isaac and get the information, and so that's very helpful. And like we were talking about before, as far as our realtor that we really rely on a lot is Jennifer McCormick. And then as far as vendors, we kind of thought about it, and in San Antonio, we used Fred with year-round. It's year-round construction. He did a great job, very thorough, very professional. And in Houston, we had worked with Longhorn, and they did a great job for us. And so those are a couple of our vendors that we've been real happy with.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. All right. So I think we can move to the next slide, right?
That's it. That's it.
Okay, that's it. So,
Yes.
Chris, go ahead and open it up for questions.
The only question we've got is, what would you tell the new folks in the room?
You want to start? I would say get ready. If you go to the 2-day, get ready. To me, I had an owner mentality, and I always thought that some people have a consumer mentality, and I thought I was pretty smart because I had an owner mentality. I owned my own business. I owned my own house. I was an owner. But then when you go to lifestyles, you get an investor mentality. And that just totally blew me away, because I was trying to pay down mortgages and do that kind of thing. With lifestyles, it's totally different thinking. It's like, no, you kind of keep as much money as you can so you can buy that next investment. And you just keep on investing.
And there's a snowballing effect of the cash flow as it comes in. The more assets you get. Really good job.
Yeah,
Everyone
so
give them
get ready to open up your
Thank
mind.
you.
And it really works. It's not a scam. You're not trying to overcharge anyone. You're not trying to steal a property from anyone. It's all legitimate. It has, you can do business with integrity and make money.
Very good.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Wayne and Teress.
Yes, thank
Chris,
you for coming
turn it
on to
back
give
to you.
back. All right, guys, we'll give you a hand. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
There we go.